Tonight, the battle lines in the fight for the Republican Party now drawn. Right now, all polls show it's Trump versus DeSantis, and the Florida governor has yet to even enter the race. The former president painting himself as the leader of a revenge movement.
I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
During Trump's featured speak on Saturday at CPAC, an annual gathering of conservative activists, he blasted leaders from the past.
We are never going back to the party of Paul Ryan, Karl Rove, and Jeb Bush.
While taking thinly veiled shots at his strongest potential competitor, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
We're not going back to people that want to destroy our great social security system. Even some in our own party. I wonder who that might be.
DeSantis once discussed potentially privatizing Social Security, an idea he's backed off since. Trump also doing a complete 180 on mail-in ballots, saying he still wants to get rid of them, but has no choice but to accept them for now.
I will move heaven and earth to fully and finally secure our elections. All Republican governors should immediately go for paper ballots, one-day voting, and voter ID. But until that day comes, Republicans must compete using every lawful means to win. That means swamping the left with mail-in votes, early votes, and election day votes. Have to do it.
By Sunday, Governor DeSantis, speaking at the Reagan Library in California, apparently taking his own dig at the former president's time in the White House.
You didn't see our administration leaking like a sieve. You didn't see a lot of drama or palace intrigue. What you saw was surgical precision execution, day after day after day.
DeSantis right now, the only candidate competitive with Trump in the polls. Though at CPAC, Trump easily won the unscientific CPAC straw poll, 62% to DeSantis's 20%.
A lot of the folks we talk to out here say that they'd love to see a Trump-DeSantis ticket. What do you tell them? Would you consider asking Ron DeSantis right now to be your vice presidential pick?
Well, I've always had a great relationship with Ron. I was the one that made it possible for him to win. He was at a very low number, and after I endorsed him, he went up by a lot, and he asked me to do that. I've always had a good relationship with him, but it's much too early to talk about.
Why should he not be the presidential candidate for Republicans?
Well, he can be if he wants to be.
Why should folks not turn to him if he makes the case of being a new generation?
I think I've done something that nobody else has been able to do. We turned around this country.
Other Republicans, like New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu, still weighing a 2024 run. But on Meet the Press, Sununu, a Trump critic, acknowledging the strength of DeSantis as the Trump alternative.
Right now, if the election were today, Ron DeSantis would win in New Hampshire. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
CPAC now seen as a Trump event, his loyalists dominating the crowds.
Trump, hello. I mean, it's got to be the president. I don't trust anybody else to run this country but him. And as far as DeSantis, I don't trust anybody else to run the state of Florida than him. So he needs to stay right where he is and not go anywhere.
Now, Tom, this was a defining reception for Trump here this weekend. These are the types of grassroots conservative activists that if you're going to mount a serious campaign, you really need to get the backing of here. And when he took that stage, there were thousands in attendance, maybe not the biggest CPAC crowd ever, but there were thousands in attendance that enthusiastically received him. And if you compare that to Nikki Haley, who is really his main primary challenger at this point, and who also did take the stage over the weekend, well, it was a friendly reception. It was far from an enthusiastic one. And Mike Pompeo, who is his former Secretary of State and also considering a bid, it was also a tepid response to him up on stage. Fine, welcoming, but it was not that of Donald Trump here. And so coming off of a week of good poll results and enthusiastic response, he's going to Iowa a week from today, feeling very good about where his standing is as this Republican primary field really begins to take shape.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.